Imagine you're standing at the base of a massive, intimidating mountain. Looking up at the peak, your heart absolutely pounding. You're terrified to take that first step. Well, listen, if that feels like you right now, welcome to this explainer. Think of this time as our dedicated one-on-one coaching space. Whether you're a student feeling completely crushed by academic pressure, a young adult navigating those terrifying new career challenges, or just someone feeling totally paralyzed by self-doubt, you are in exactly the right place. Just take a deep breath. We are going to work through this together.
So tell me if this sounds familiar. Have you ever deeply wanted to do something, like really take a leap, start a new project, or maybe just speak up in a workplace meeting? But instantly, this quiet, heavy inner voice whispers, you can't. You're just not good enough. I want to acknowledge that pain right off the bat, because honestly, it's frustrating and it's so exhausting. But hear this, that internal voice of doubt, it is a universally human experience. It's not a personal flaw. You aren't broken just because you feel fear. You're simply human.
Okay, let's dive into this because we often look at highly successful people and think, wow, they were just born fearless. But actually, the truth is, the human brain's fear center, the amygdala, activates for literally everyone, even the most seasoned executives. Real competence is not the absence of fear. It is the persistent choice to act despite that internal fear. Confidence just isn't a magical trait you're born with. It's a daily active choice. It's feeling the absolute terror and deciding to take the step anyway.
We really need to break down this myth of the bold leap. You don't become confident overnight by making one massive, terrifying decision. Instead, confidence is built incrementally. It's all about consistency over intensity. It's built through small, consistent actions. Every single time you complete a small task or keep a tiny promise to yourself, like just waking up when your alarm goes off or sending that one difficult email, you're actively building long-term self-trust. You are proving to your own brain that you are reliable. But look, even with small steps, the journey is tough. Going back to that mountain metaphor, everyone, no matter how successful they appear, reaches a point halfway up where they're freezing, exhausted, and they just look at the path ahead and think, I just can't do this anymore, I'm done. I deeply empathize with that overwhelming urge to quit. It feels so heavy. But here's a secret from a mentor sharing some hard-won life experience. This specific, difficult moment, right when you want to walk away, is exactly where your life can change direction. This is the turning point. So, what do you do when you hit that wall? Here are 3 exact steps to take when you feel paralyzed. First, pause but don't quit. Resting is perfectly fine. You are totally allowed to catch your breath. But stopping entirely is where true failure happens. Second, ask yourself, why did you start? Reconnect with your core purpose. Are you really as weak as your fear is telling you? And third, take one small step. Not a giant leap, just one tiny action to get you back on the path. And this brilliantly illustrates a core truth about success. Most people don't lose because they are weak. They lose because they stop trying. Persistence is the absolute antidote to failure. If you just stay in the game, if you just refuse to pack up and go home, you're already winning. The only guaranteed way to fail is to stop completely. But of course, the mind always fights back, right? And the ultimate source of paralysis, the thing that keeps us stuck in this endless cycle of indecision, is the fear of getting it wrong. Think about this. The average person makes over 35,000 conscious decisions every single day. Yet the fear of getting just one of them wrong can completely paralyze us. We need to completely reframe this mindset right now. To do that, we need to strip the emotion away from our mistakes. Decisions are not final judgments of your character. They're simply neutral data points and learning opportunities. The reality is, no choice is 100% perfect, and no choice is 100% wrong. When you treat past mistakes as neutral data points, just feedback on what to adjust for next time, you remove the fear. You replace the fear of failure with curiosity about what you will learn. This is exactly how you build long-term resilience. When you're standing at a crossroads, you always have a choice between listening only to your fear, which tells you to hide, versus listening to what makes you stronger. Let's do a quick calming script here. Close your eyes for just a second. Visualize yourself a year from now, standing taller, feeling calm and accomplished because you made the hard choice today. That future you is built by opting for the path that fuels your personal resilience, rather than the path of avoidance. Choose the option that, even if it scares you, you know will force you to grow. Because at the end of the day, the narrative isn't about competing with external forces. The real fight is not against the world. It is an internal battle against yourself.
It's you conquering your own internal friction, your laziness, your fear, and that loud, persistent urge to just quit and be comfortable. Self-mastery is all about turning those internal, quiet doubts into loud self-belief. To help you figure out exactly where you stand in this internal battle, we're going to pause for a 10-question confidence audit. I want you to mentally or even out loud tick yes or no as we go through these. Be completely honest with yourself. This isn't a test with a grade. There's zero judgment here. It's simply an audit to find your current baseline and, more importantly, to help you identify your hidden strengths. Okay, let's go through the first 5. Take a breath and just reflect. Number 1. Do you trust your own decisions or do you always rely on others' opinions? 2. When you fail, do you treat it as neutral data to learn from or do you immediately blame and punish yourself? 3. Do you have the courage to try new things or does fear hold you back? 4. Do you see criticism as a chance for growth or does it cause you to break down? And 5. Are you clear on your personal goals or are you just following the crowd? Keep that honest, safe space for reflection as we look at the final 5 questions. 6. Do you use positive self-talk, like actively saying, I'm capable of figuring this out? Or do you constantly focus on your flaws? 7. Do you stand firm in hard times, or do you immediately want to quit? 8. Do you actually recognize your small successes, or do you always underestimate yourself? 9. Do you face your fears, or do you avoid them entirely? And finally, 10. Do you take a small, daily step to be better than you were yesterday? All right, tally up your answers. If you answered mostly no, please hear me on this. Do not panic and do not judge yourself. Answering no is not a failure. It is simply a neutral starting point for your journey of self-mastery. Now you know exactly what to work on. And if you answered mostly yes, congratulations. You've built a strong foundation. Your job now is simply to keep up that consistency. So how do we transition from doubt to daily action? By building a resilient morning routine. Here's a brief checklist to start every day with purpose. First, keep one small daily promise to yourself. Second, celebrate your small wins before the day even gets hectic. Third, consciously distance yourself from negative people and actively build a supportive inner circle. Fourth, learn something new daily. And fifth, practice positive self-talk. Replace those limiting negative thoughts with empowering daily affirmations every single morning. It drastically changes your outlook on life. I want to really focus on that habit of celebrating small wins. Why does this matter so much? Because acknowledging your micro goals creates a powerful, permanent record of personal progress. To do this, I highly recommend a simple nightly review exercise. Before bed, write down just one thing you did well today. Saying, I did that and I'm proud of it, proves to your brain that progress is happening, and it gives you the exact fuel you need to maintain high motivation. And that brings us to the core message of this entire explainer. Winning against yourself is the biggest victory. The world is going to throw challenges at you, but the most important triumph you will ever have is looking your own self-doubt in the mirror and saying, I am not going to let you stop me. You are simply not made to lose. You have an incredible reserve of strength waiting to be utilized. I'll leave you with this final provocative thought and a 7-day challenge to act as your clear roadmap to achieving one major personal win this week. What is the one small, brave decision you will make today? For the next 7 days, I challenge you to actively practice positive self-talk. Replace those negative thoughts with affirming statements and define just one achievable micro-goal every 24 hours. Make that choice, treat any stumbles as neutral data, and start winning that battle against yourself. You've totally got this. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely can't wait to see the progress you make.